Hi everyone, hope all is well. I wanted to upload a review of Mizuki's Onwards to Our Noble Deaths. It's somewhat like Showa, not quite the same. It's more specific, it's shorter, and it provides quite a bit more details about Mizuki's experience in the New Britain archipelago from 1943 onwards. Released originally in Japan 1973. It hasn't been out very long in the English world, and so A, it's not very easy to find, and B, it was quite expensive. At least mine was. I don't know about others. With that being said, I just wanted to provide perhaps a little more detail. This is somewhat complementary to my review and the some of the ideas and stories within Showa. Um, it is a different book. It goes into the good, the bad, the more so, I'd say, the ugly of fighting and living and surviving at the end of the day of, again, New Britain and the Japanese versus the Americans versus nature versus crazy ideas and crazy people and just madness all around. Now, this book does go into the battles that Mizuki was either a part of or had extensive knowledge of. It goes into really the everyday battles and the minor details and the major details that constitute being a soldier within the New Britain area. So, Mizuki was shipped out to New Britain in specifically Rabaul. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that at the moment. And this particular area wasn't actually occupied by the Japanese till the end of the war. So the South Pacific and the New Britain archipelago, as you can see on the map here, was a flashpoint for Americans, Aussie, Native versus Japanese sort of battles, if you will, and just a really interesting set of struggles. So one particular struggle was looking for food, and Mizuki and his comrades and his buddies were out about looking for food. They get on a boat, and one guy just disappears, gone. Likely an alligator, just gone. And so not only was it difficult finding food, securing food, of course, rice and rations were not very, it was hard to come by, particularly as the war went on and they were more and more isolated from supplies. And some of the other things he goes into, of course, the madness of the company in which he was a part of. I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe he was part of one of the most quote unquote difficult companies in the entire war. So, he went through battles, but there was South Pacific. I mean, there was from his story, there was literally like next to nothing to do, and you're just wandering around, and all of a sudden there's a bombing raid. There's a marauder, American marauder bomber coming by and just like taking out like 3, 4 of your guys. Um, and then you have commanders. One particular story is Mizuki was removed from his detachment, and not a part of his detachment, but his detachment went out for a bonsai charge, and they survived. Great, awesome. They returned, and their officers were disappointed, angry. Like, what are you doing here, man? And they were returned to the front, and they were told not to return unless essentially they're in body bags. So that idea of like sacrificing quote unquote noble death, I mean, what does that mean to Officer A or Officer B? Really, I mean, nothing. The quality of life, the meaning of life was just like completely shattered in so many different respects. And I'm gonna be showing you pictures throughout this video, and you'll see, it's not only the battles, it's not only the malaria that's running around and the guys getting sick and with this and that. It's also they're also battling like this idea of, almost like what it means to be there and to fight there. And it's just unbelievable, in some level. At the end of the book, I don't want to give away too many details, but it's just like a complete encapsulation of the madness of being there as a Japanese soldier, and just running around on a beach or in a forest, and there's Americans, and I haven't eaten in like 2 weeks, and I have like a bolt action rifle against like a tank, and it's just really sad on many different levels, but also somewhat frustrating on other levels. So I think the idea of a major theme throughout this book is kind of what is the value of dying for X for Y, and what is the value of sort of surviving to the next day. And part of that survival, of course, he notes the brothels and all that stuff, but also just putting up with, like, just being whipped into doing hard labor, being smacked and kicked around by superiors for dropping, accidentally, a bag of food, not, running around and basically running into a Sherman and hoping to God that, this Ariska 98 rifle, bolt action rifle, is going to do something. I mean, it's just insane. But that insanity, opens up a really sort of set of valuable questions that I think Japan had to tackle with post World War II, and I don't think they ever really did. Just to be honest with you, spoiler alert, in my personal opinion. But this book is great. Like I said, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter than Showa. Of course, it's not a 4-part series; it's just a standalone book. So I recommend it, particularly if you're looking to continue on or supplement the Showa series, and you're looking to see like what the heck happened to Mizuki. I don't want to give away details, but he went through a lot, and he and his company and his detachment went through a lot, and it's I recall some of it in the movie series The Pacific, where they're fighting against the Japanese, but they don't tell the Japanese side, and the Japanese side really is, I would, in one word, more and more, one word. I said one word. Desperate. I'll say that, but increasingly is desperate as time goes on, and not necessarily just as the pressure of the Americans attacking or bombing or disease. It's just everything just seems to get worse and worse and worse. So I hope you guys can check it out. Hopefully it's available online for you. I couldn't find it in any bookstore in my city, but I was able to find it on Amazon. So take a look if you're interested, and let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.